board to approve, unanimously this variance request for the applicant. He has a hangar that was on the parcel of land for 45 years, it collapsed, he wants to rebuild it. So, it passed unanimously. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation and approve the variance request for PET 1400005G at north 8700 Sky Lane, Edward Rumpf.
Second,
Could I have you add to your motion that you adopt the hardship findings of the planning commission in your motion?
Sure.
Just say that you adopt the hardship.
I adopt the hardship findings of the planning commission
alright, do we have a second?
for this applicant.
Yes.
Ty, the second. Further discussion? Hearing none on the motion, to approve, petition for setback ordinance, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried.
Alright, motion to approve the rezone request for PET 1800006A at N8828 Stringers Bridge Road by West Rod Cottage Industries.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, under discussion, recognize Attorney Rose.
Yes, I would like to remind the board, just like last month, motion should be based on, the evidence, discussions that we heard earlier during public comments regarding the applicant. It should not come into your decision-making. If you are disregarding any of the evidence that was presented, that should be part of your reasoning too when we do a recall, a revote on this.
So this went to the county, and, you got the letter from the county, we sent it back, because they said, really, we had not denial of a denial last month, which is not an approval or a denial. So they wanted, they said, we asked that this letter and these requests be sent back to the county for further review. The county zoning agency simply needs to know if the town approved it or denied it for the reason. And that's why we're back here. They need, before the county can act, they, want a definitive answer from the town. That's why it's back here. And hence, that gives the impression on why we're back here.
And I did see the memo from the county, and that is what they're requesting.
I have a question.
Call the question.
There's a lot, no,
Do you have a question of me?
No, call the question.
no,
I have, that's all right.
Okay, I'll rescind it to let Mr. Lennon speak.
My question is, with the way that this motion is written, am I allowed to make an amendment request to put conditional uses into this motion?
Not the way it's noticed. It's a straight up yes, no.
So you can't amend a motion?
no, actually,
Conditional use, you're voting on rezone.
yeah, we're voting on
Non-conditional
rezone.
uses.
The plan commission never addressed the conditional use, so it's not part of this question. Question is, rezone the full lot from C4 to C2. That's what the county wants to know, so the county can proceed with their action that they have to do.
The only reason why you can't amend is because we would have had to, even on an emergency basis, post like 2 hours before the meeting that conditional use conditions were going to be part of the motion. Just so the public had noticed, and if they wanted to appear, they could.
And furthermore, if the plan commission did act on it, we could act on it either. We would be sending it back to them, and, that could happen, but it wouldn't happen by us, it'll happen by the county.
That's my understanding.
Yes, county would do that. anyway. So, now, you said you rescinded the call to question. You still want, you call for the question yet, you want more discussion?
No, I'm good, if we can go to the vote, I'm good.
No more discussion, so, okay, so, the, motion is to approve the rezone request. And, we will roll call vote, so it's on the record here. Clarkowski, nay.
Leonard, yay.
Reyes, yay.
I vote no to the rezone for the applicant, John Stoss, West Rod Cottage Industries LLC owner. The applicant is requesting a rezone to take a substandard C4 lot and make it a C2 upland resource conservation district. My reason to vote no with the planning commission includes, I know and trust the planning commission's decision to deny this request. They have all done their due diligence. 2, the planning commission chairman Cook stated there was nothing submitted on behalf of West Rod Cottage LLC that contradicted the serious environmental concerns set forth by the letters opposed to this request or the public comments of experts including Robert Nada, Tom Vanden Bogart, Dr. Jennifer Torch Costa, and Patrick Bergen. Planning Commissioner Smith requested Mr. Stoss update the wetland delineation of the sensitive area, and that was not done. Dr. Jennifer Torch Costa stated it was not the exact sensitive area, but that it is the sensitive area in concert with everything around it that protects and preserves the health of the lake. Mr. Mills found the August 2012 minutes in which Mr. Stoss stated the tax parcel reference PET 1800006 had 134 feet of footage, of frontage. The planning commissioner Smith stated the lot in the proposal would be a non-complying C2. It does not fit any of the setbacks for C2. It is less than 10% of the minimum lot size for C2. The planning commissioner Diamond also stated the shoreline cannot be disputed, it is C4. I agree with planning commissioners Dynick and Russell that changing this property zoning to something other than C4 would be setting a new precedent that would affect this lake and all the other lakes in the state. A change would be irresponsible because it is a sensitive area and a critical habitat. The experts have stated that changes to this sensitive area and critical habitat would cause a ripple effect throughout the entire lake. The public trust doctrine in the state of Wisconsin also places limitations on the state's actions as trustees of the waters. The state is prohibited from serving or advancing private interests and permanently approaching lake beds for private purposes. Wisconsin law recognizes that an owner of land that borders lakes and rivers are known as riparian owners. They hold rights to use the water next to their property. Riparian rights include the use of shoreline, reasonable use of the water, and access to the water. The Wisconsin State Supreme Court has ruled that when conflicts occur between the rights of riparian owners and public rights, the public's rights are primary and the riparian owners' rights are secondary. I vote no.
Aye, John, aye.
Alright,
Just for future reference, call it order, how is that a roll call vote?
Pardon?
Yeah,
How
how's that a roll call vote?
that's what you want.
Because the county wants to know what the decision is based upon. Both last month and just now, I advised that when you vote on this rezone, you should specify the reasons based on the evidence, or if you're disregarding the evidence, state so. Thus far, only Barb followed my advice.
And my reasoning is in the record, and it's gonna be in the record.
My reasoning was that the last vote.
Same.
But the last vote, the county didn't understand, so What I will tell Jen is, whatever went up last month, she needs to include, and I'll go over this with her, a whereas paragraph saying, whereas the county sent it back to us for another vote on today's date, we are incorporating the reasons given last month, and then here is the breakdown of the 5-person vote this month. And that way it'll incorporate your decisions from last month.
And as far as the roll call, that's actually in our ordinance, it says if it's not unanimous vote, it shall be a roll call vote. That was changed 3 years ago.
Yes, it was.
So, before the resolution goes to the county, is there any way that we can look at this before it's sent, or who drafts, is it just Kim that drafts this?
It doesn't drive them.
So who drafts it? Jen does.
Based on what is said at the meeting. She watches the meeting over and over and over again to get the verbiage correct as it was stated at the meeting.
And I consulted with Jen, and she already called me, wanting to know how this resolution is gonna have to be drafted, and I told her, we'll add a whereas clause indicating it got sent back, and here was the vote at tonight's meeting.
The vote is the same. I will say that all of the, advice, recommendations, et cetera, been ignored. Been totally ignored. And I am not even proud to be part of this board with a decision like that, but that's why we have a board. We vote, and the vote is what it is. It's 3-2, to the motion.
No. Supervisor Reyes hasn't even voted yet, I don't believe.
Yes, she has.
She voted.
Yes,
She
okay.
voted yes.
The vote is the same as the last one. So that's, where we're at. Okay, unfinished business.
And the reason it came back from county, wasn't clear.
Correct.
But I think several of us had discussions.
Hopefully not the other.
No, with the county, if I can finish, with representatives from the county, and we have shared, the data was the same, that it is, the rezone is requested only for the off-ramp. That's how that was.
That's not what.
Well, I do know that the county did comment on my comment that all of the discussions that were alleged to have occurred with, Darren Schwanke were hearsay and should not have been considered. So the same would go with, any hearsay discussions happening with any other county board members, but I don't know if those discussions even came into evidence.
And possibly the.
Why would it be usually if you're going to the source of the,
Because they weren't present at the meeting, able to be questioned on whatever the opinion they were giving, to the planning commission or whomever.
What if they looked at the property and stated that,
Right.
that it.
I'm just telling you what legal foundation to
That's
get
where
something
we-
in as evidence
We have
is.
to do our investigation.
And hearsay, unless it meets an exception, does not come in as evidence.
Yeah.
Well, it can if it meets an exception. But other than Darren, I don't even know who else was spoken to at the county.
Kate Hastings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than, yes, and I did see that tonight, but prior to, tonight, I had only heard of discussions happening with Darren and various members of the planning commission.
The same thing, this evening was not to at the table, it was to motion to approve the rezone request for the parcel.
Well,
and then how he says the rezone request means only.
No, that's incorrect.
well, that's for the county to figure out.
Yeah, the county will figure it out.
Yeah, they will, because the applicant is all writing, he says, here's what I want, and that's what he presented, so that's what they have. That's why it's not part of it, just like the distribution. All right, we're gonna move on. Unfinished business, discussion with possible scheduling of for a public hearing and consideration of discussion for an